What's up everyone? Welcome to my channel, Jace's Own World. Today I got a pretty simple and good one for you. Today I'm going to be bleeding my brakes. And the reason why I am going to do this job is because I just installed a new caliper, as you can see in my last video that I just posted. And when you do a new caliper and you're removing the brake fluid line from the system, you're gonna probably get some air in the system and you're going to want to bleed your brakes. And so I got this cool pressure bleeder that is basically a one-man job instead of doing it the old school way of one person in the car and pumping the brakes while the other person is at the calipers undoing the bleeder and opening it and closing it and opening it, blah, 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 blah. So I got the pressure bleeder and I'm excited to get this job done because I've never bled my brakes on my car before, and I have about 86,000 miles on the car. So I think it's about time to bleed my brakes. So let's go ahead and do this job. But before we do that, let me get into the tools that you're going to need to do this job. All right, so what I got set up here are the tools that you're going to need to do this job on your own. You can always do it the old school way like I just mentioned, but if you're going to do it on your own, these are the tools that you're going to need. First, you're going to need the wrench for the bleeder to crack it open. Mine is an 11-inch for this car. Right here I got a little a teaspoon, so I can take out the old brake fluid in the reservoir so it's not too full. You're going to need a brake fluid catcher can for the wheels when you're undoing the bleeder. Right here is the pressure bleeder itself, and I will show you in a minute how you're going to set that up to do this job, and all the necessary tools with the kit. And then, of course, brake fluid. You cannot do this job without new brake fluid. I actually used .3. I should have used .4, but .4 was like almost triple the price of the .3, and this car can take .3. .3 is just fine for this car. And then you're going to need some gloves if you want to go that route, and then some towels, obviously, and then some eyewear as well. So those are the tools needed for the job. Now let's get to the actual job itself. Okay, first off, before you connect the pressure bleeder, you're going to want to undo the cap, the brake fluid cap itself, and inspect to see how high the fluid is. Mine is actually pretty high because I just added quite a bit to do my caliper job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some out with my little teaspoon here. A lot of people use a turkey baster to suck it out, or like a syringe or anything like that. But I do not have anything like that at home. And so I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to dip it in there. Boom. Make sure you're not, getting any brake fluid onto any of your components, because this stuff is very potent and will destroy a lot of your components if you start dripping it on it. So obviously mine's pretty cheap stuff from Amazon, and so it's not as potent as other brake fluids out there, but just try not to get it on anything. Be as careful as you can. Okay, once you're all done with that, taking out that, some people take it completely out because they want to reflush their entire brake fluid throughout their whole system, so they take out as much as they possibly can with the turkey baster. But I have been continually adding brand new brake fluid to my system for the last 2 months because I've had that big of a leak. So I'm not going to worry about taking everything out as much as I can and then installing the new stuff, because pretty much everything in there is brand new. If you watched my 2 videos ago, I had a bleeder block that failed and most of the brake fluid drained from there. So let's get on to the install of the pressure bleeder itself. Alright, so installing the pressure bleeder itself, I got a pretty cheap one from Amazon. I think it was in the $45 range or something like that. You can even get them for like $35, $38 on Amazon with free shipping. Pretty dang cheap. If you want to get nicer ones, you can always get nicer ones. But this one worked with my bleeder block just fine, and I'm going to use it on my brakes. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to wipe up any residual brake fluid around the area, and dirt and grime, because you do not want it to get inside your brake fluid reservoir. And then you connect your piece right here, depending on what model you're using. I'm just going to go according to the model that I'm using. Nice thing about this model from Amazon, I don't know the model, but is it has a quick release right here. So I can, tighten this one on pretty tight so that there's no leaks. And then I just connect it like this, boom, and it's connected. So you connect it like that. Make sure all your connections up here, your hose is here. And essentially, before you start this job, you want to put some pressure into the system, like 10, 15 psi, and see if it holds, so that you know that your your pressure bleeder has no leaks. I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and do the pressure of the brake fluid itself. So after that, you're going to open this up right here on mine, and you're going to add brake fluid to it. I've already added a little bit, but I'm going to add some more just in case. Okay, I haven't pumped it up at all yet, so we're going to be good to go on that. Okay, be careful that you do not get brake fluid all over your engine. Do not get brake fluid all over your engine. You will be crying afterwards. So, add some brake fluid. A liter is probably good enough. And then tighten this up. I use my little nifty tool that came with this kit right here. Tighten it up like that so that there are no leaks, because you cannot pressurize anything if there is a leak. Okay, so it doesn't have to be Superman strong, but strong enough. Okay, and then you just start pumping. Make sure everything's routed like that, and you start pumping, and you can see the fluid coming through here. I can see it coming through. See that? Maybe you can't see it, but I can see it. And you're going to start pumping up until about 15 psi on your gauge, or 20 psi. I like to do about 15, 17, something like that, so it's not overdoing it. Okay, there's 15. There's 17 right there. So let's do one more pump. Boom. Let's go to 18. Okay, that's 18. So there you go. That is how you basically put pressure in the system with the brake fluid. And you're gonna watch your little needle here, making sure that it does stay at the 18 that I have it now. And it is staying, so I know it's pressurized. And what we're gonna do from there is we're gonna go over to each wheel and crack open the bleeder valve and start bleeding the brakes. Before you do that, you're gonna want to put your car up on jack stands so that you can do this job. And you're going to start from the wheel that is the furthest away from the master cylinder, which is underneath the brake fluid reservoir on this car. And you're going to work your way to the closest wheel from the master cylinder. Sorry about that. My battery just died as I was talking in that part. But to sum that up, you're going to do the right rear wheel first. And then you're going to make your way to the left rear wheel. Then you're going to make your way over to the right front wheel, and then you're going to make your way over to the left front wheel, so that you're doing it the furthest away from the master cylinder and going that route, so that you don't get any air bubbles in the system. Because if you start from the wheel that's closest to the master cylinder and get some bubbles, well, you still have a whole long line to go to the very right rear, which is the passenger side rear. And there could be tons of bubbles trapped in there. So it's just best to start from the furthest away from the master cylinder. So let's go over to the right rear wheel, which is the passenger rear side, and start bleeding the brakes from there. Okay, so once you're at the brakes, I am at the passenger side rear right now. You're going to find out where your bleeder valve is located on your caliper. There should be a little rubber boot, and you just take a little pick, some sort, or you can use your fingers. Just don't, destroy the boot. Take that off, like so. That'll come off. See that? Boom. Right there. Focus for me. Come on. There you go. So there's a little boot right there. All right. Set that aside. Don't lose that. And then I got this little thing right here to pick up the brake fluid, which is really cool because it has a little magnet, and you just put it on your thing like this. You go like that, and essentially you can just let it hang. So you put it on your thing like this, and you go like this, and you put it on, and it will hang on your rotor, so it's nice and, you know, secure and everything. So you take your little spigot or whatever you're using, the hose, you connect it to the inside port of the bleeder valve there. You take your box wrench here, okay, and all you do is crack it open. And because it's pressurized from the front, you're not going to need anyone to pump your brakes, which is really nice. So there we go. And as you can see, it's flowing through right here. You can see that all coming down. I did have a little bit of air bubbles in there, which is cool. So, you know, you crack it open and you basically wait until all the air bubbles are gone and you're satisfied with the flow and the movement of the brake fluid itself. So you have that open and you're just letting it drain, and I've been drained pretty good. There's no more air bubbles. Once you see no more air bubbles, you tighten the bleeder valve screw back up. Do not need to tighten this up like crazy. It just needs to be a little bit tight, and you're all set. Get this, take that out, get a rag, wipe this down. What you're going to want to do is take a little Allen wrench here, what I have, and there's going to be a hole in the bleeder valve right here, and there's going to be some leftover fluid. So what I do is I put this in there, and that's not going to hurt anything, but I just want to get that leftover fluid out of there. I learned this from a guy on another video, and what that will do is get all that extra fluid out of there, so that if you just like washed your car or your new wheels and you have some nice wheels or something on there, you don't want this extra fluid to go splattering all over your wheels. So you get that extra fluid out there, do that a couple times, you know, and once you're satisfied with that, wipe it down, okay? And then you take your rubber boot and just put it back on. Do any last wipes, and if you're satisfied with that, then you are done bleeding your brakes. All right, here we go. On the driver's side rear, which is the left rear of your vehicle, and this is the brand new caliper that I just installed, so I'm about to bleed these brakes, so I'm kind of excited to see how much air is in this system right here, guys. So just take the cap off, boom, good to go. Okay, get your little tool to pick up the fluid here, put it down here, bam. Put that in like so, which is kind of cool that this kit came with these little, you know, extensions to, I'm going to wipe that down a little bit, but it's kind of cool that it came with these little extensions to just plug it on in there. Super easy. Okay. All right, so it's plugged in. Take your box wrench, boom, open it up. Where's that? Okay, opened it up. And it's open. Look at all that air, guys. You! That is a crap ton of air. Jeez. Insane. Look at that. Look at that. This is awesome, knowing that I had so much air in there and that I'm getting all the air out and bleeding my brakes on my own. Something that I've been wanting to do for quite a long time now. And I'm finally getting it done, and all it took was one of my brake calipers to start leaking. Which is kind of sad, right? But, and get my box wrench and go again on the brake bleed. Get all the air out of the system. And there was still air in there, guys. Still air. So, keep going with that. Let that bleed through until I'm satisfied there's no more air. Looks about good right there. So, there's no more air coming out of this system. And I'm going to now tighten up, back up the bleed valve with my hands, and then my box wrench here. And once again, you do not have to over tighten these because you do not want to destroy it. Okay, take this out. Boom. Let that come through. Back into the little container so it doesn't drip out all over your floor. Okay. Wipe this down. Wipe this down. Take your little Allen key, and hopefully you can see this one right here. As I push it in, you see some fluid pop out there, and that's why you want to do this. See that? Okay. Boom. Okay. Clean it all up. It's all good. And put your little cap back on. And you're all set. Alright. So I'm all finished. I got all of my brakes bled from the right rear, which is the passenger side here. Then I went to the left rear, which is the driver's side here. And then I went to the right front, which is the passenger front side here. And then I went to the left side front, which is the driver's side here. Finished bleeding up the brakes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the system, and I'm going to release the pressure, because you do not just start unscrewing this. You will have massive brake fluid going everywhere. Do not do that. You got to unpressurize your pressure bleeder. With this one, it's pretty simple. It has a little valve right here, and all I do is press it. You can hear that, releasing all the pressure. Bam, okay. So all the pressure, just push it down a couple times, all the pressure is released. And what that does is it takes all the fluid and it brings it back into the bottle itself. And so from there you can disconnect right here. Mine's quick connect, so I just go like that, boom. So from there, you come over here, and I, off camera, unloosen this because it was really tight. So you can unloosen this, okay? You're going to check your fluid. Looks like my fluid is kind of high, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of fluid out of there, and then I'm going to put the cap, actually I'm going to wipe it all down, make sure it's clean, make sure the cap is clean, and then I'm going to put the cap back on, and you're all set. And you have bled all of your brakes. You can do the same thing with the clutch and the brakes if you have a clutch. And there you go. I hope you like this video. Very simple job. Go get yourself a pressure bleeder from Amazon, super cheap, free shipping. And that way you'll feel more confident with your brakes. After the job is done, drop it off jack stands, start the car, go take it for a test drive, make sure nothing is leaking. And if there are no leaks and the brake pedal feels fine, then you're completely done with the job. So I hope you like that. I had a good time doing this. It was really easy. Simple maintenance job. I would give this job probably a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. And I think my brakes are going to be working really good now. Thanks for watching this video again. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you like my content. And also hit that notification bell so you can get updated for future videos. I will catch you guys on the next video, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.